Hi, welcome to Amy Fisher at Large. I'm Amy Fisher, and my guest today is Peter Genovese, who is the author of several great books and a restaurant critic for the Star Ledger, and also the master of the Munchmobile that travels around the state sampling great food. So, Pete, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. The driver of the Munchmobile. I don't know if you could ever master the Munchmobile.
Okay, the driver. Now, let's start with the Munchmobile. How did that get started?
It was actually, we're in our 6th year. It was the idea of our editor, Jim Wilsey. I'm not sure what possessed him or how he came up with the idea. I've asked him, and he's sort of shrouded in secrecy exactly how one thinks of a van driving around New Jersey with a 8-foot-long hot dog on top of it. But it's a great idea. It just gets more and more popular every year. And like I said, this is the 6th year. We get hundreds of phone calls and emails each week. People, they tell us where to go, literally, and we don't pick places. Mm-hmm. We go where readers tell us to go, and we try to get as many places as possible in one day. It's like an all-day eating binge, but it's a lot of fun. It is work, but it's in many ways the ultimate summer job. I mean, they're paying you to eat, drive around New Jersey. That's a pretty good job.
It's sort of become like a cottage industry. You have T-shirts, you have a website.
Yeah. We should have like a little Munchmobile gift shop or something. Right. You had people, you won't believe, just driving on the Parkway and Turnpike, the people waving, honking, the guys, the toll booth guys who, will hand us slips of paper telling us where to go, like their own recommendations, which are pretty funny. People, when we're parked in the street, people will come running up to us. Oh my God, they've read them. It's one thing to read the Munchmobile, but to actually see it in person, it's the drawing or the pictures just don't do it justice. It's a normal white van, get 12 or 10 passenger van, but the hot dog on top makes it really just a one of a kind.
And you're the
set
driver.
Of wheels. I'm the driver.
And what happens when it's windy? Does the hot dog sway in the wind?
No, they bolted it. Oh no, the guys at the Ledger, they make sure that hot dog is fastened on. That's you don't want to lose the hot dog.
It is such a great idea, and I know now it's in the Star Ledger every Friday right. During the summer. Right. And then you have guest munchers, you have all kinds of things happening. Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. I'm curious, though, why you don't weigh 500 pounds after eating all
Give me a
food.
few months, maybe I'll get there. I've always, people ask me that all the time, and I don't really, I try to run a little bit, every once in a while, but maybe just good metabolism, I guess. I guess I'm sort of the ideal guy for the job.
Well, then you're also the restaurant critic. You have Eat with Pete column. Right. Right. And you go to offbeat restaurants, right. And it seems to me from reading your stuff that your favorite meal is breakfast. I don't know if that's true.
Absolutely right. You can't start the day without breakfast. Right. I mean, if I haven't had breakfast if I haven't eaten until 1 or 2 o'clock, I still eat breakfast. At 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you have to have that cup of coffee and some breakfast food.
Well, it's obvious from your columns that you enjoy this food and enjoy your work. Yeah. Now, in addition to working for the Star Ledger, you have written great, unique travel books. And I just don't know how you manage to find the time to write these books and have a full-time job and do everything.
No, I think if you can find time for anything. I don't have a lot of other obligations. Not no kids or I think that would probably slow me down a little bit, but spare time, weekends. I mean, a lot of the books, I did this book on Route 1 a few years ago and used all my vacation time basically, and every weekend I was on the road somewhere, on Route 1 between Maine and Florida. So you make time, and it's, like I said, it's work. There's, wasn't easy, as you say, to sort of balance work and this. But the fact that it's fun makes it easier.
Well, your Route 1 book is very interesting, and you have great pictures too, which you take all your own pictures.
Yeah.
And that's amazing that you do all that.
Bring a good camera. That's all it takes.
They're very beautiful, particularly the pictures in the center, the color pictures. They were really, really nice. Now, your new book is called New Jersey Curiosities: Quirky Characters, Roadside Oddities, and Other Offbeat Stuff, and it has wonderful things in it. I've read a lot of books about New Jersey and things that I've never even heard of. But so it's a combination travel guide and history and.
Yeah, it's sort of like I say it's good for people who don't know anything about New Jersey and need like a good quick introduction, a fun-filled introduction, and also for people who think they know everything about New Jersey, because it has a lot of these are things offbeat roadside curiosities, plaques, and odd little museums, and amusement parks, things that you might have heard about, maybe you haven't actually been to, and there were a lot of like little facts and figures about New Jersey that you've never seen anywhere else, and it's a fun. My first book that I ever did was called Roadside New Jersey, so it sort of explores the same territory, but the emphasis here is on actually things you can visit and things you can learning about New Jersey too. It's a good, quick. Sort of like I said, it's sort of my New Jersey, or a lot of people's New Jersey isn't sort of like the postcard New Jersey, or the the sanitized New Jersey. This to me is like the real New Jersey.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now you have a new book coming out.
Yeah.
And what is that going to be?
The Jersey Shore, hopefully the ultimate Jersey Shore book. It's different from other. I mean, there have been books written about the Jersey Shore, where to eat, where to stay, where to sightseeing attractions. But this is a season at the Jersey Shore. I spent all last summer at the shore. I know, tough job, but someone has to do it. Just sort of hanging out and just finding. It was sort of like you can imagine like a reporter being turned loose at the shore for a summer. Finding stories, and that's really what I did. So every imaginable subject about the shore, the beach, the boardwalk, and everything. Surfers, lifeguards, food. It's really all in there. A lot of. I'm really happy with the pictures, and I think the way the book looks. Rutgers is once again publishing the book, and I think they did the cover alone is worth. If you see the cover, you'll buy the book. Forget my name or anything else on it. But it's really, they did a great job, and really good pictures, and hopefully good stories inside. So it's like I said, it approaches a little bit. I don't think anyone's sort of really done that season at the shore like a "You Are There" book. It really, if you don't feel the sand between your toes or smell the food on the boardwalk after you finish that book, I've failed. That's all.
And it will be available in local bookstores.
Sure, around Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend. Great. Well, that's a good time. The people will come back from the shore and be able to relive their shore experiences.
Or see what they missed.
Or see what they missed. Well, they can do it next year.
Right.
One of the things I was going to ask you is if you were having company from Iowa. I don't know why I chose Iowa. It just seems like a strange place to come from. But to come from from Iowa to New Jersey for the weekend, where would you take them, and where would you take them to eat?
Oh boy. For the weekend, during the summer, or
anytime. During the summer, take a summer and a winter.
Well, the summer you'd have to. Well, obviously you'd have to go down the shore. You have to go to the shore, and there's so much. I mean, it's 127 miles from Sandy Hook to Cape May. There's so much, but you could cover. I mean, I would take them to like Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook to LBI maybe the first day, and then go down to Cape May, Wildwood. If I had to pick one town. One place, one place on the Jersey Shore, it would probably be Wildwood, because it's really the greatest show. It's the beaches are free, and I just memories. I mean, I had memories as a kid. We used to go down to Sea Isle, which is just nearby. It's Avalon, Stone Harbor, Sea Isle, all near just north of Wildwood. And if we were good, if we behaved ourselves, me and my brothers were allowed to go to Wildwood for the night. So I mean, I had just a lot of memories of Wildwood, and it's still the greatest show on the Jersey Shore. So I would make sure my visitor from Iowa definitely had a taste of Wildwood. And food, I mean, there's just so much. Where do you begin? I mean, just the boardwalk food alone. And there's so many just good restaurants, and Atlantic City, along the bay. I mean, there's people ask me all the time, what's your favorite restaurant? I really can't. It's an impossible question to answer. I say, well, what kind of food you're looking for, atmosphere, whatever, where you're going. And of course, in wintertime, I would just sort of drive around, just take them, just sort of get off the major highways, get off Route 18, get off Route 1, get off the Turnpike. Stay away from the Turnpike as much as possible, because people, that's the stereotypical view of New Jersey is what you see from the Turnpike. People come out of the airport, they're on their way to wherever, and that's all they see of New Jersey. They think that's what New Jersey is. It's so totally un-New Jersey.
Yes.
That's part of the state. That's a good chunk of the northern part of the state, but that doesn't just begin to describe what's south of New Brunswick, what you see on the Turnpike. So I would just sort of drive around aimlessly around New Jersey, give them a little taste of North Jersey, but then drive Central Jersey, Pine Barrens, and just sort of back roads, country roads. And I guarantee you, after when they go back to Iowa, they would tell everybody they knew, like, wow, New Jersey, I didn't think it was anything like this. Yeah.
I know in your book you say, you know, have a good time in New Jersey, but don't tell too many people
Right.
because
Yeah. Go away, spend your money, and don't tell anyone, and leave us alone. Yeah, because I think we're a little state, and we're the most densely populated state, and more people keep moving in every year because it's a somewhat cheaper alternative to New York and Connecticut, whatever. But it's still not a cheap place to live. But you wish at some point they would just say, stop. Stop developing, leave some open space, but it's a tough state to be in.
You know, it's interesting. We did a show about the oldest house in Middlesex County, which is in Piscataway,
Right.
that is owned by the Jennings family. And it turns out that the person who built it came here from Brooklyn, and that was in 1700 and something, and they're still coming.
Yeah, they come 200 years later. Yeah, it's not a recent development.
No. So I thought that was very fascinating. Also, you're mentioning Wildwood. That's where we spent the summer. Well, not the whole summer. We used to go there for 2 weeks in the summer when I was little, and went before the Parkway was built, and we used to take this circuitous route. But it was great.
Or just and the contrast between Wildwood and the next town down, which of course is Cape May. Just spend the weekend there, and you'll have like the whole Jersey Shore experience in one. And
then we went to Stone Harbor, which is just above it, and that's sort of a whole different atmosphere also.
Yeah.
So it is a great place to be. Well, now I want to talk a little bit, now that we have some time, about your book. One of the things I found fascinating was all the different things that were invented in New Jersey.
Right.
Now, I know a lot of things were invented in New Jersey, but I, for example, did not know about the area code.
Right.
And air conditioning.
Air conditioning, Mr. Carrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The barcodes, the scanner, barcodes.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's only a selection, really just the tip of the iceberg in terms of, but I picked some of the more significant ones and sort of some of the more offbeat ones too. There's all sorts of, there's one thing that sticks out, Hamilton, which is down in the Pine Barrens. It's the most, of course I'm Italian, Genovese. It's the most Italian town in the United States.
Yes.
There are more people of Italian descent, somehow the Census Bureau always figured this out. The more people of Italian descent live in Hamilton than any other place in the United States. I mean, stuff like that is just great.
I thought that was fascinating because I'm of Italian descent too, and I thought that was really interesting. The other thing I was interested in is about how people, I think it's freehold, less than 1/10 of the people walk to work.
Right. Yeah, there are like 4 or 5 towns. Yeah, I think there are 4 towns in New Jersey that are, I think, in the top 10 in the country. I forget, but in the top 10 in the percentage of people who walk to work. That's stuff like that. The Census Bureau is just it's just an endless fount of great, sometimes useless information. But just stuff like that is just fun to know. Yeah. Totally useless, but fun to know.
This also the birthplace of grape juice. Now I knew about Campbell soup, but I didn't know about grape juice.
Right, Mr. Welch. Yeah.
And that was so that the people wouldn't have to drink alcohol.
Right,
in
exactly.
church
Right, he
services.
wanted a non-alcoholic alternative. Came up with his grape juice, and look at Welch now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And also the first commercial cranberry sauce.
Right, Ocean Spray. Right, or the woman who, I forget her name, but she, led to Ocean Spray eventually. Yeah.
Now then Teflon. I forgot Teflon was invented here. All kinds of stuff. But the other thing is the people Betsy Ross. People think of Betsy Ross from Philadelphia. You show that she really was from New Jersey and is actually buried in New Jersey.
Well, there's still some questioning. Like I said, I don't, and that was some of that was based on a story that we had done. One of the reporters had done in the Ledger, and there was sort of new research has come about that she may actually be buried at the Presbyterian Church in Baskin Ridge. And they still, historians and of course people in Philadelphia, I mean,
they don't
God
like
forbid,
that
they're not
idea.
going to give up Betsy Ross that easily. So there's no definitive proof yet, but it seems fairly strong research that at least she's buried there and might have been from here originally.
Collingswood, I think you said she was from Collingswood.
Right, and buried in Baskin Ridge.
And then Santa Claus. Now,
Thomas
everybody
Nash.
knows the picture of Santa Claus, the illustrations, and I guess way back years ago, I must have known he was from Morristown, but I didn't remember it until I read it in your
The Santa
book.
Claus, as we know, because the Santa Claus, before Thomas Nash came along, the artist who lived much of his time in Morristown, before his Santa Claus, I mean, their Santa Claus looked totally different, and so the Santa Claus, the generic Santa Claus that we know today, was a New Jersey Santa Claus.
Yeah, he's great. Also, you say things in a very interesting. Oh, Elsie the cow. I have to remember the rhodolactor. I mean, you talk about when you used to go in Plainsboro, and we used to go there. I don't know if anybody watching remembers, but could you tell us what the rotolactor
Actually, I
was?
was explaining this a couple weeks ago to somebody, the rotolactor, and they looked at me like I was no idea what I was talking about. But it was a revolving, sort of like a merry-go-round for cows,
Right.
a merry-go-round cow milking machine. And this was literally like the highlight of my childhood because I lived, Trenton. We'd go, Plainsboro was a half an hour up Route 1. My parents, I was just dumb. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Right. And actually, Thomas Edison. I tell the story in there. Thomas Edison actually, I think, flipped the switch that got the rotolactor going. It was sort of like this nationwide broadcast. It was so revolutionary at the time. And of course, it's not there anymore. The farm's not there anymore.
Not there.
But there is a grave. There's a little marker for Elsie the cow. And Elsie the cow, of course, was Borden's big spokes cow, I guess.
Spokes cow. Yeah.
And so Elsie there's a development there. But if you look real hard, you can find the grave for Elsie the cow. There's a picture of it in the book.
I remember when they tore down the rotolactor, my family was devastated because that was a great Sunday trip. It was free.
It's just amazing.
It's
just
hard.
all those cows. There were, what,
Right.
40, 50 cows maybe, just
yeah.
standing there, just going around in a circle.
And, it's hard to imagine that was fun to see, but it was. It was great. And you definitely have a very unique writing style. I like this, that you wrote about the Band-Aids, which were also invented in New Jersey,
Sure.
as people around here know that, I
Sure.
think.
Johnson.
But then you said success was a little sticky at first, which just cracked me up the way
Bad
you wrote
joke.
that.
Someone has to make it.
I thought that was so great. And you talk about the tintinnabular food that's
Ring dings and ding dongs.
yes, and
Yeah.
I didn't know they came from New Jersey.
Yep. Yeah, up at Interstate in Wayne,
In
and actually
Wayne.
all the animal. I mean, just stuff like this. I just love all the animal crackers in the world, are made in New Jersey, in
Really?
Nabisco, in Fairlawn. Yeah, right on Route 208 in Fairlawn. Yep, all the animal crackers.
Right. So I guess all the ring dings and ding dongs and all Yankee.
Well, ring ding. Some of them are made elsewhere because
okay.
that's a company that's one of their major bakeries. But all the animal crackers, which is Nabisco,
in the entire world.
in the entire world, are made in New Jersey.
Well,
Nowhere else.
That's a lot of animal crackers.
More Budweiser, the beer, is brewed in New Jersey than anywhere else. And actually, the Newark Brewery, which is right on Route 1 across from the airport, there are bigger breweries, but they make more of just the straight Bud, than anywhere else. That brewery makes more Bud than any brewery in the world of the Anheuser-Busch breweries.
Now, Newark used to have a lot of breweries, right?
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely. Yeah,
now Budweiser's the only one
the
left.
only one left. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's always smoky. When you go up the turnpike, you always see the plume of smoke.
Right. They have the
coming
great
up.
neon eagle
Yes.
up there, which was made by the company in New York City that was famous for all the like Times Square billboards. It was the same company that built that eagle, and that's a great sight. You're driving up the Route 1 there, or the turnpike, and you see the neon eagle on top of the roof there. It's quite a sight.
Yeah, well, it is a very interesting place to live, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I mean, when you think about all the things that have happened here, so why do you think that New Jersey's always bashed?
It's just so easy. I mean, you can't pick up a paper, or a non-New Jersey paper, and not see a New Jersey joke. I mean, it's just so. I thought the Jersey joke was out of fashion 10 years ago. It just keeps, I always say that if New Jersey ceased to exist, half the stand-up comedians in America would be out of business. What else would they make fun of? But it's just so, it's just that stereotype of, we're always living, of course, in Philadelphia's and New York's shadow, and that sort of cultural, social superiority that especially New York and New Yorkers feel. That's a lot of it, and again, it gets back to that stereotypical view of New Jersey. Most people, again, their only experience, non-New Jerseyans, their major experience with New Jersey is driving down the turnpike or Route 1. That came out of the airport, they're on their way to somewhere else, and they see the refinery, Bayway. They see the brewery, this, as you say, smoke belching, and there's a lot of traffic and noise, and they think, oh, that's New Jersey. So it's easy to make fun of, but the people in the know, people who know New Jersey don't make fun of it.
It started with Benjamin Franklin, right? Wasn't he
A
the
barrel
first one?
tapped at both ends.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, praising with that's not exactly a compliment there.
No,
but
right, no.
But I think, always, like I said, we're as I say in the book, come here, spend your money, have a great time, and don't tell anyone you had a good time, because I think that's the way we should keep it. Because we're never, the Jersey joke will be eternal. It'll always be but like I said, we know better.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to laugh when there are Jersey jokes. The governors seem compelled to defend the
Right.
honor of the state, which I think makes it look even more ridiculous. I mean, I think they should
Right.
just
leave it alone.
Just leave it alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think we've lost our sense of humor. But I mean, I think where I draw the line is when people make Jersey jokes and don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
If you just, just put down Jersey just because it's, Jersey just sounds like a funny word too, or New Jersey, Jersey. But I mean, I don't mind Jersey jokes. I have a sense of humor.
Right.
But I'm just people who make fun of it and like have never been here or don't know anything about it. That's stop.
That's one thing you say in your book that people from New Jersey don't say New Jersey, they say Jersey.
Right.
But is you really find that to be true?
Well,
because I'm from New Jersey and I always say New Jersey. But
yeah, I think I have found that generally the longer you live in New Jersey, you'll just sort of give that shorthand, where you're from Jersey, Jersey, Jersey boy, Jersey girl, Jersey Shore.
True, Jersey girl and Jersey boy, and Jersey Shore.
I had somebody when the Diner book came out. The Diner book came out. Of course, it's just called Jersey Diners. I had a man call me up and just argue with me. He said, "How could you dare call it Jersey Diners? It's New Jersey Diners." And
and we didn't talk about this book yet. This is a great book also. Is that still available?
Yeah. This book continues to sell.
The pictures in here are wonderful, and the history of the diners is just fantastic. Was that your first book?
That was my second book.
That was your second.
That was my second book, and it's in the third. It's done better than the other books combined. It's really. We have more diners here than any other state. We're the diner capital of the world, 600 plus diners, and no one had done a book, and I was fortunate enough to do it, and it was just a lot of fun. I mean, I love diners. Probably my favorite diners right down the highway here, the Colonial in Route 18. And actually the waitress there is profiled in one of the chapters, a chapter on waitress, she's profiled, so there's sort of a soft spot in my heart for that diner. But they're just great places, not just to eat. I mean, to me, a diner is more than just about food. It's the atmosphere, that sort of down home, feel at home. You almost, as I say in the book, you almost expect to see your mom come out of the kitchen with your food. You have that just warm, cozy feeling. In most, the newer diners, they've sort of, I think, lost that. They're so fancy, they're so shiny, they're so neoned that it's hard to get that. But I think pretty much any diner that you go there enough and they make you feel like home, and they're just, you don't get that in a chain, as far as I'm concerned. No.
Well, when I was a little girl and grew up in Patterson, there was a diner called Pickering's Diner, and my father used to take me there on Sunday afternoons and to have ice cream sundaes, and it was the only place you could have ice cream with fruit salad on top. We had the same waiter all the time. It was the same thing. It was like going to visit your uncle or something, And it's one of my best memories of growing up is going to that diner, and I think they tore it down, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not there.
So it's a shame that so many of them have been torn down, and some of them have gone to Germany, right?
A few, yeah. That's a lot of people have made a lot of that. There've only been a few. And other places, Spain, a few other countries. There's a famous diner on Route 1 where the Quaker Bridge Ball is now. It's called the Clarksville Diner, and that ended up in Paris. Of all things, the national TV station in France bought it and uses it. I haven't been there. I've actually asked people who've gone to Paris to give me like a field report, but I haven't heard back. But they actually use it as the TV station as a place to have parties, basically. They don't use it for studio space. They've put it in front of apparently their headquarters in a suburb of Paris, and they use the diner as a sort of for social functions or whatever, which is fine. Someone saved it. My big problem with it is that that diner was up for sale for a year or so, and nobody in this country wanted to buy it, and the guy was pretty much giving it away. So then when it went to France, people were there was this big hubbub about, oh my God, a classic American diner is going to France. Well, it was there. We could have bought it. Someone could have saved it, but. So, good for the French that they saved it.
You have a picture of it in your book, I remember. That's good. And that was, sort of not too far away from the Rotolactor, so you could go to the Rotolactor and then go to the diner for a snack.
It's like the ideal day for me,
Well, now that you're done with your Jersey Shore book, and the end of the summer will be coming, and your ends of your Munchmobile trips, what's your next project?
I have one book, the Globe Pequot Press, who I did the Curiosities book for. All the other books were Rutgers. I'm probably going to do, they have a series called the Food Lover's Guide to different states, and they want to do a book for New Jersey, Food Lover's Guide to New Jersey. So I figured I'd be the guy to do it.
You're the ideal person for that.
It's not restaurants, it's more like where to just get good. I mean, there's some restaurants, but there'll be markets, specialty stores, there'll be recipes, farmers markets, just places where to find good food, and maybe a lot of places off the beaten path. So I think that's my next project.
Well, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I
I may end up 500 pounds after that.
Right. I was in the car listening to the radio, and they had that show on NPR called Taste of the Nation, and they were talking about the White House Sub Shop in Atlantic City, and I'm thinking that's your restaurant, right?
Yes,
You talk about that all the time.
That's a great. It's the best sub shop at the Jersey Shore.
Right.
Period.
So I thought, wow, somebody's stealing from Pete.
No, I wasn't the first. Believe me, I wasn't the first person to write about that place. I mean, it's 50, almost 60 years old, so people were writing about. People were singing its praises long before I came along.
And I just also wanted to point out that you had recently the Summer Shore Guide, that you write for the Star Ledger. And here's a picture, well, I don't know if Dave can be able to show it, but here's a picture of you on the beach on one of the very cold Munchmobile days.
That really shows what the Munchmobile's about, squatting on a beach and, freezing weather, eating pizza. That's real, true Munch spirit.
Right. Well, I want to thank you very much for being
Thanks
here.
for having
You've
me.
been really great. And I look forward to your two new books. When do you think the other one, The Food Lover's Guide, a couple of years?
No, next year, probably next spring or summer. Yeah, or summer or fall. Yeah, it takes about a year once you get started to when it finally comes out. So sometime next year, but the short book definitely in September.
So that will be, and we can go to our bookstore and buy it.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, thanks again for coming.
Thanks for having me.